I'm JV. At 20, I pressed pause on uni to chase two dreams: backpacking the world alone and completing one of the toughest endurance races in the world, an Ironman. I wanted to discover if there was more to life than the path simply laid out in front of me. So welcome to my 8-part series of one of the best years of my life. Last episode, I said bye and caught up with as many of my mates as possible. And I explained the reasons behind why I wanted to solo backpack around the world. And that leaves me here. And while I was heading on a plane to Tanzania, I thought about what I wanted to learn from each continent I visited. So as I went through my travels, I decided to document each of the lessons I learned.
The Ethiopian airport.
I remember arriving to Kilimanjaro airport and immediately it was hectic. I was too stunned to record at the time. However, the airport was so tiny, and after coming off 28 hours of flying, being extremely smelly and tired, I was immediately swarmed and followed by 10 Tanzanian men just asking me for taxi. Every other tourist had been picked up by organised tours, but I was just by myself.
Amida? Yeah.
And I arrived to my first ever hostel, costing $7 a night. And I wasn't sure what to do. What is travelling? How do you travel? What do you do in your day? And it was just crazy while I was walking over 20 meters to the hostel, being approached by 5 different people. I met Maddie from Colorado, and she's the first ever friend I've met on my trip. We met at the Ethiopian airport actually, and we found out we booked the same hostel. Our hostel only had 4 people in it. Instantly, we became friends. She works as a zookeeper and at the age of 20 has travelled to all these places around the world by herself. We spent the first night extremely tired and we just talked about life, fitness and how crazy it was that we were halfway across the world in Africa. In the afternoon, I was off to hike Mount Kilimanjaro. And that day and a half I got to spend with Maddie felt like I'd known her for years. She had taught me so much of what it is like to solo travel and be switched on in your awareness around you.
So once he drops you off and you have all of your bags on you, then give him money because you have to drive off with your bags.
Yeah. Smart.
When I arrived, it was just this fancy lodge. But outside the lodge would just be Tanzanian streets. Such an interesting contrast. It's so interesting when you're just by yourself. I had this hotel room with 3 beds and this feeling of being on the other side of the world and in a developing country just leaves you feeling so alone. And it's a weird feeling to describe. The rooms around me, it's just empty. You have no one to talk to about your feelings. The differences in how different the world is compared to where you've grown up. You have your 2 backpacks with all the minimal essentials you need and that's your life. People at home are all asleep. You just have to figure everything out by yourself.
My throat here is very swollen. Oh. Then I gurgle and claim out blood. Wow, it hurts. I'm actually worried.
Mount Kilimanjaro is located in Tanzania in Africa. It's the highest point in the whole of Africa. 5,895 meters. I chose to do the Rongai route. The route is right near the border of Kenya. 6 days of hiking with 4 days up and 2 days down. My friend Harry Gibbs actually planned on going.
Let's go! Let's go!
And I was just going to join in. We planned to go to Tanzania and Kenya together. Due to an accident training for the Iron, he wasn't able to come.
Busted up.
It's a time for a new chapter.
Time for a new chapter. No more cycling.
I wish he was here to experience this with me, but I know that one day he'll have that experience. There's a certain beauty in approaching life with curiosity rather than doing things always for a known purpose. When we let go of specific outcomes, we open ourselves to these experiences and lessons we never anticipated, discovering insights and moments we hadn't expected to find. And it's in this freedom that we truly learn and grow, often without even realizing it. And for the first day, it was all smiles for me. I've never hiked before in my life, so on the first day, we got dropped off at 2,200 meters. higher than the tallest point in Australia. We had a team of porters. I would always joke around with them, and we had some great chats with them. And we also had two guides, Regan and Angela. I was also doing the hike with Mike and Julie, who are from America, and have been planning this trip for the course of 2 years. Mike kept calling me a porterhouse boy. What a legend. After days of hiking for 6 to 8 hours, we would set up camp each night as we reached different checkpoints. It was pretty phenomenal, some of the places that we got to stay at. I remember though, it would just get so freezing. I would have to wear 4 layers on the top.
This is my tent. I'm pretty cold. This is it.
It's pretty crazy in Kili. The weather is so unpredictable. Anything happens at Kilimanjaro. And this was where I started to get even more sick. Kilimanjaro easily became one of the hardest challenges in my life, similar to the Ironman. From day one, it was just all smiles, and then from day 2 onwards, I stopped talking and laughing, and was genuinely seriously doubting myself if I was able to reach the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. When you're in altitude, there's way less oxygen. The higher you go, the more thicker the air is. I was breathing so heavily. As well as this, I would lose a lot of my appetite. Even though I felt hungry, I just couldn't eat. And then I would have to hike 8 hours onwards. The cold during the night made it so difficult to sleep, and every time we arrived to a new campsite after a day of hiking, I would just sleep as I was just so exhausted. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. On day 4, hiking to Kiva Hut, 4,720 meters, the day before the summit hike, it was at this time I thought about this proverb and how true it was. When you have a crazy ambitious goal in your life, you don't realize how much further you can go when you're with other people. When you're with others, it'll get you further than what you could ever imagine, and so much more than simply by yourself. However, sometimes you have to differentiate yourself from others and carve your own path, and you'll find that you'll go a lot more faster. You have to make that conscious choice, and along the way, you'll find others who, just like you, will take you further. Like the Porterhouse and the Ironman. Hiking with Regan, Mike, Julie, Angela and the Sherpas. It was a slow step by step. And that was all the difference that had carried me through hiking Mount Kilimanjaro. The summit hike starts at 11 PM. You go to bed at that same night at 7 o'clock. I didn't get any sleep. It was all the nerves thinking about the big day ahead. You start at 4,720 meters and you hike all the way to Uhuru Peak in the pitch darkness. I was wearing 8 layers of clothes on the top and 4 layers on the bottom. It was that cold, I couldn't even control my fingers, so I couldn't get any videos. The whole night was a blur, but after hiking for 8 hours, as I started to reach Uhuru Peak, I saw the most beautiful pure sunrise I've ever seen in my life. And there it was, the highest point in Africa. But when I reached the top, I couldn't actually celebrate at all.
Okay, heroes, congrats.
Mate, that was hard. There's the sign.
The highest roof of Africa, 5,895 meters. Say something, yeah?
Mate, I'm on top of Kilimanjaro. This was pretty hard, man. Oh.
Okay, great. Congrats, bro.
I'm cooked.
And I wasn't even sure if it was a mixture of the altitude sickness or something, but I was cooked. We spent 2 nights going down from the mountain, and if I were to look back at my time at Kilimanjaro, I felt like the biggest actual reward was simply connecting with people from the journey. I remember simply just talking about life with Angela and Regan. As well as Regan would always just joke around with me, and he would always call me his son.
Yeah, I am. That's my son.
The porters, especially Solomon, who came to talk to me each night with his broken English, and Walter, and how we shared life goals just walking down Kilimanjaro. and getting to share the experience with Mike and Julie. The celebration at the end was truly beautiful.
Adventure is done.
All of this was the real reward. After Kilimanjaro, I took the bus the next day at 5 AM from Moshi to Nairobi, capital city of Kenya. I managed to get to the brothers' home, and for the next 3.5 weeks of my life, I would spend it here living with the Christian brothers. Agri, Calvin, Dominic, Noel, Wycliffe, Victor, and Alphas. But how did I get to this point? My old high school does this program with the school in Kenya, Eddie Rice Catholic Education Centre. And after some back and forth communication, I was able to be accommodated into Kenya in a town called Mbubu through the help of the principal Peter Shanahan, one of the most kindest people you'll ever meet. I got to stay with the Christian brothers and experience life as a Christian brother. From Monday to Friday, I would be at school. It wasn't scheduled, or there was no program or plan. There wasn't any structure. So I had to go and make the experience what I wanted it to be. So I talked to everyone that I could and asked if I could join in anything that I could. But then that night, I got an email from Nick Smith, a teacher at my old high school. He asked me if I could come by and share my story with the whole school. So the request got me thinking. In a way, it felt like an opportunity to speak to my younger teenage self. I had to dig deep and really ask myself, what is one key message that I will take from my whole experience in Kenya? The school is quite old. All the students get morning tea, which is made at the milk farm.
The cows. Cows at the center. The kids.
I got the chance to meet Zaki, Yolanda, and McKenna and see what it is like behind the scenes milking the cows.
Hello world.
Hello world.
I also asked if I can sit into classes and just become teacher Vong.
So in this instance, you know what the fine is?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Correct.
I kept teaching English class in Noel's class, and I really got to connect with the students. It was so rewarding seeing the kids smile and laugh.
Okay? Deal.
Every lunch, they have this line when they all receive food prepared by the canteen ladies. In the food, they have ugali, which is their Kenyan carb sauce, as well as cabbage and beans. They're very religious in Kenya. Every Friday as well, they would have church. And I didn't record for obvious reasons, but it was like a celebration.
This is my home.
Yeah.
I'm trying to shift things for the family to have a better life.
Peter Shanahan recommended me to meet Professor. Professor worked as a maintenance man for the school. There's so much that I learned from Professor through the morals and values he lives by in life.
Welcome home, feel home. Whenever you go and come back, you're most welcome.
Our interest working out had connected us a lot. It would cost 50 cents for a casual visit in what was called the ghetto gym.
Wow. So this is the ghetto gym. This is it.
And at times we would get to work out with some other people as well. I really admire Professor as who he is as just an individual. Professor showed me around the neighbourhood on my first day, and it left a lasting impression. When he showed to me what he referred to as the ghetto, the poorer area, he shared an analogy that has stayed with me ever since. Get higher education to teach others. Ghetto. Professor used to live in similar conditions to these, sleeping on the ground. To me, he is an inspiration. Currently, he is living a life to inspire his children and always sees a step to improve and preaches living out one strong message he believes in. And that message is that there is far more to who you are than your upbringing. What stuck out to me the most was his genuine respect for people and his eagerness to understand them, free of judgment about their backgrounds. Simply by just being him, In the few weeks that I've known Professor, he had taught me life lessons that would stay with me for a lifetime. To approach life with respect and gratitude, to see opportunity in every challenge, and to believe in the power of small steps towards a brighter future. As my last week of my time in Kenya had come to a close, I spent it doing a safari in the Masai Mara. It was beautiful to see the animals and meet some new people. But my favourite memory is meeting this guy from India that just wanted to get smashed.
Bring the chair. Come outside, come on. Then you have to start, man. You have to start. Nobody's drinking. You have to start drinking.
The school has this program where you would go with a child from school and visit their home. We would fill out this form, and based upon living conditions of the students, the school was providing either a half or full scholarship for the child's fees. It was with Sister Francesca. I didn't really have an idea of what the program entailed, but it really shocked me. I remember just going to some home visits and learning about the stories of the parent, often single, mistreated, and had been abused. The form we had to fill out had questions like electricity, yes or no, or access to running water, which was often no. Often no beds in a house that was less than 3 by 3 meters. And one house visit, I remember 7 people living in that small space. The kid outside was kicking a rolled up plastic bag as a soccer ball. The children are often the parents' only hopes at having a better life. With no other opportunities apart from their education, the children, being so young, don't fully realise this. And Sister Francesca asked me, a 20-year-old kid, for my input. But what did I know? All I was this guy from Australia. I wasn't anyone special. All it felt like was that I'd won the lottery based upon where I was born. What was crazy was at school, all you saw were the uniforms. You don't see the background of where these kids come from and how they're being raised. All you see are the smiles, the laughter, and the joy. Oftentimes, the only meal they get in the day is a lunch given at school. And I remember sitting in on a random class on a random table, and on the table was written, "Life is enjoyable when you're educated." And all of this, it broke me. And that night, I remember crying in my bed to myself, thinking at least I had a bed. And as the last few days were approaching, it was actually quite emotional. Kenya will always hold a special place in my heart. Bye, brother Bose. I'll see you in, I don't know when I'll see ya. But I'll see you sometime. And teaching at Noel's class, especially for the final time, it left an emotional weight I hadn't prepared for when the kids innocently asked me when I would come back, not knowing if I would ever get to see who they grow up to be. Because in their younger minds, my absence was just temporary. So many memories in Kenya, the brothers, the people I met, celebrating my 21st birthday, all of that was so special. The people in Kenya live life so measurably different to mine. But it doesn't make it worse or better. It's just different. In my time in Kenya, what I experienced was a true community like no other. Strangers being so open to one another. And it makes me deeply happy that true connection in places like this still exist around the world. Not a world where we're stuck in our own headphones or so fixated on our own lives, but a world and place with laughter, a place with true community, a place so proud of their own culture and so willingly open to share it. This is Kenya. place. I leave in a quiet sorrow that I can't go back home and take a piece of their lifestyle with me. Before I left, I wanted to give a small gift as a token of appreciation for a family for letting me inside their home during a home visit. I wanted to leave them with a gift they could use.
This is a video. This is the school.
Get him, get him, get him. Hi, hi, hey.
The cows. He's milking.
I touched you, Zaza.
With nothing planned or booked for the next 2 weeks,